Hey, this is Shannon Kringen, Goddess KRING in Seattle, and it is March 27th, 2025. I just got back from doing a pet sit and I wanted to talk about my current projects. I wanted to share my art shadow box. Is that what these are called? It's hard to film without the glare. Why is that not in focus? I wonder. It's not in focus, but this is my music CD. This is a track list. This is an abstract painting I did. This is my Kringonian Pizzazz poetry book. So I'm going to put this on the wall at the gallery at Art Not Terminal Gallery. It's going to open on Saturday. I think it's April 5th is the opening, 5 to 8 p.m., 2025 in Seattle. And I guess it's just focusing on me because I have it on some weird settings. So this is me, individual human being named Shannon Nicole Kringen in Seattle, with my artwork called Collaborate with Goddess KRING. I'm going to put a QR code on the wall at the art gallery next to this shadow box that's multimedia poetry, music, and painting that I created. And I'm going to say collaborate with Goddess KRING, and I'm going to invite the audience or the public that comes into the gallery to collaborate with me by scanning the QR code of my music, and or if somebody doesn't want to do that, they can email me and I will give them an exact link, and or they can just search for me online, Goddess KRING, Shannon Kringen, Kringonian Pizzazz Poetry, and or Kringflower Music. And my invitation is for people to listen to my music and or read poetry or look at my visual art and then make some art in response to it, directly in response, whatever effect my art has on you, whether it's music, poetry. My poetry is spoken word. You can read my book, Kringonian Pizzazz, but you could also listen to the audiobook version I recorded of me reading my spoken word, Kring Speak, Kringonian Pizzazz poetry. And you can respond to my visual art, poetry, and music, or my art car, photos of me with my art car. And you can write a poem or a song or paint or whatever kind of art that you make and send it to me, email it to me, or snail mail it to my P.O. box. And then I will either make a collage with the art that I get from other people with their permission, or I will make art in response to the art that people make in response to me. So it's kind of like a House of Mirrors collaboration, kind of like the webcam right now is, see how there's me and then there's the reflection of me. So there's multiple reflections and mirrors. I think that every single human is an individual and we are all unique and precious in our own different ways. So I'm curious what people will respond to me with. And then if I don't receive any responses, which, is a chance that nobody will want to participate, then I will make art in response to that. I will maybe make art in response to the lack of response. Like I will make an art maybe about empty space because a lot of my art is very, very busy. So I wonder if I think about empty space and letting go of needing external validation, or there could be different ways to interpret that. So I want to collaborate with Goddess KRING. I want that to be my next art piece that I hang in Art Not Terminal. And then I'm also working on a 4 foot by 4 foot canvas that I just started painting. And I'm going to do something about the infinite, intricate patterns of nature. I'm very much inspired by the shapes that I see in plants and animals. Out in nature, today I took a nature walk and I saw a little earthworm, which inspired me. And I thought about the soil and the microorganisms in the soil and the fungi, fungus, mushrooms, all of the infinite, intricate patterns of nature. I wrote a poem about infinite, intricate patterns of nature. And I applied for an art residency. I forgot what it's called. I've applied to a few different art shows. We'll see if I get into them. And I also continue, I might actually, if I'm chosen, I might be at a fancy party in Seattle, and my art car might be part of the display where people can get their photo taken with my art car. But I'm waiting to see if they choose me because there's other people that they might choose instead of me. So we'll see. It's kind of like I auditioned for that. And I'm just trying to slow down and focus on what can I do right now in the moment. I have conflicting desires. I have many different things that I may or may not want to do. And there, I'm going to put this down. This is heavy, but I just wanted to share my my newest visual art piece. And I noticed that I'm feeling my face is like, you can't tell on camera, but my face is like red and hot because I'm like kind of stressed out and I'm kind of, but when I turn the camera on, I usually feel better. I feel like I can, it's like writing in my journal. When I speak into the video camera, I feel like I'm just getting my ideas out, trying to reassure myself that everything is okay. I know there's all kinds of things happening in the world and people are arguing, and I'm not going to participate in that for this video. I'm just going to, let's just say I care about all the issues in the world, but I don't want to use this video as a way of talking about all of the drama and all of the anger and fear and sadness and the people who think one thing is right and another thing is right, right, wrong, arguing about what is true, what is false, what is right, what is wrong, what is ethical, what is unethical, who's the scapegoat, who's the hypocrite, who's the, shadow projector, who's the gaslighter, who's the, I wrote a song called Cancel Culture Vulture, Virtue Signal Soldiers, and I wrote a song called Polarized Landscape, and I wrote a song called Outsmart the Gaslighter. So I think there's many, many multiple levels of smokes and mirrors, smoke and mirrors. I'm writing a song about what it is like to be a figure model. I've been figure modeling for 33 years. They say how you do one thing is how you do everything. I tend to do things in a complicated, cram everything into it kind of way. And yet I love some of my art. I think I've done some beautiful work, but I also think that I have a hard time slowing down and not doing this sort of like dyslexic ADHD style that I do. But oh well, remember, Tom Petty widens my jetty, meaning I have a crush on him, but also Tom Petty, but also may he rest in peace. May his beautiful soul and body and mind rest in peace. But Tom Petty widens my jetty also means that Tom Petty, his music, his energy, his modus operandi that he had when he wrote songs and performed them, recorded and sang and performed his songs, his energy resonated with me in terms of sending me a message of stay true to yourself, have confidence in yourself, believe in yourself. Don't let the jerks get you down and stay true to the course and follow your intuition, follow your heart, follow your soul. I mean, maybe all great artists are basically an example of that. But for some reason, when I listen to Tom Petty music, it melts my heart and totally ignites my inspiration, kind of like Willy Wonka, The Power of Imagination, Pippi Longstocking, Oompa Loompa Boopity Doo, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So I just wanted to share that. So I'm inspired by nature and Tom Petty and Tori Amos and many other musicians. I'm going to see Pete Droge and Jesse Sykes. I also love the local musician Rafe Perlman and Jason Webley. These are some local people that inspire me. Thank you to all the musicians in the world and the actors and singers and dancers and the trailblazers. So maybe I'll take another walk. There's two different things. I was going to do choice A or choice B, but I might just do choice C. I don't even want to say what those are, but there's a choice A involving certain people and me. There's a choice B involving other people and me. There's a choice C involving mostly me and nature. And my guitar. My guitar gently weeps, perhaps. I have a keyboard and a guitar that are wanting my attention, and I have a canvas that wants my attention, and I have writing that I want to do. I intended to do a lot of writing on my laptop and my paper journal with a ballpoint pen. When I was doing the pet sit, I was taking care of these two beautiful dogs. But because I was doing so many other things, I lost track of time and I wasn't able to do very much writing. So I would like to carve out more time. So this is a note to self. Hey, Shannon, please try to find more time to work on music videos, Goddess KRING documentary project, new songs with Dave Flowers. Did I already say art car music videos? So my main projects are wanting to make a documentary film about the Goddess KRING public access TV show, wanting to write a memoir life story book about my unusual life from a perspective that would be inspiring to other people, publishing another poetry book that's the song lyrics, that's part two of Kringonian Pizzazz, which might be called Amplified Chameleon. My memoir book might be called Checkerboard Childhood because I think that I'm an only child of parents who divorced when I was 4, and I went back and forth between my mom and my dad, which was difficult. And there are certain things about my childhood that were really good and certain things that were kind of bad. And instead of romanticizing my childhood and thinking it was so wonderful, or demonizing my childhood and thinking it was so tragic, I think checkerboard childhood is a double entendre. It's kind of a triple entendre. It means literally my childhood was like a checkerboard. Mom, dad, back and forth, only child. But it was also both my parents are really genuinely good, intelligent, sensitive people who raised me with lots of smart ideas. And I feel fortunate in some ways. And yet at the same time, in some ways, I was a bit neglected and wounded because my parents were also neglected by their parents. So probably throughout the generations of my bloodline on my mother's side and my father's side, there was a bit of neglect and a bit of trauma with people getting married and divorced, people having tragic things happen to them. I won't go into detail. I respect the privacy of my other family members, but I'll just say there's equally good and bad things about the way I was raised, and I feel like it made me who I am today. So even the negative things, like they say, the wounded healer, when somebody goes through a certain amount of pain and a certain amount of suffering and a certain amount of woundedness, they can actually help other people by being resilient and being strong and powerful and getting beyond whatever wounded them. They can be a resource to other people. I'm also a resource to myself, but perhaps I've overdone it. I have such a fear of scarcity that that's partly why I keep myself so busy. Like, I don't do any drugs or alcohol or smoke or drink anything like that, but I am sort of compulsive with my work. Like, I work a lot. I work more than I need to. I'm constantly looking for opportunities and I'm constantly being offered opportunities, and I'm really grateful for that. But I need more balance. I need more rest. I need rest. So I need to remember there's times when I wish I was more like an Amish person in terms of living with less technology. But here I am recording into the video camera, talking about wanting less technology in my life. But I think there's a way of coexisting with technology and not being too attached and not using it in the intense way that we all mostly use it. So maybe there's some way of detaching and letting go and being lighter with it, but still acknowledging technology is here and we're using it to communicate and to get things done. And then when I drive around in my car with the map navigation, I use the Indian. I love the accent instead of the American dialect of English. I love to have the map setting on the Indian from India. There's India and there's England and there's Australia. Those are my three favorite. I guess my friend from Ireland has the Irish one. I really love the sound of British accents and Indian accents from India as well as Australian. So I think my favorite right now is the Indian, the Australian, and the British. Those three I really, really like. And I find it more fun to drive around and have map navigation when it's a different accent other than American. I wonder if there's like Europeans who have the American accent on their phone because they like hearing the American accent. It's interesting. So I just wanted to do a video about current life and hope to finish the song soon on the figure model, on what it's like to be a figure model for the last 33 years. I've never really written a poem about that, maybe a little bit, been real vague about it. So working on a song about that, also inspired by Marty Stewart and his fabulous superlatives, their album called Way Out West, which I found out that was produced by Mike Campbell, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers guitarist. Also want to read Mike Campbell's new memoir about being a heartbreaker, being in the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers band. Tom Petty, at the time of his death, apparently was just starting to work on his memoir after many people were telling him to write a memoir, and he kind of was hesitant. And then finally he was starting to write a memoir, but then he passed away. So we won't ever read that memoir. But Mike Campbell wrote a memoir. Yeah, I guess that's all for now. I just want to drop it, cut it. I want to cut it off there. So good luck to everyone. Everyone is a unique individual, and I appreciate that. I think that right now we're putting each other into little boxes sometimes and categorizing each other. And the way I choose to view myself as an individual human, and when I meet somebody, instead of putting them into a category, all the different categories that we put each other into, I tend to want to feel that person's energy from a unique perspective in terms of every single human is totally unique. And yet we like to categorize each other, I suppose. So the way I like to categorize is that everyone's unique. And I like to tune into the frequency of each person and know that they're all different. So when I catch myself stereotyping or making assumptions about somebody, whether it's negative or positive, I realize, oh, I'm just making an assumption. It may or may not be accurate. So there it is. Life can be an adventure if you think of it that way. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say for now. Um, I'm excited to be putting another coat of metallic green on the wheels on my car, my Art Car Opal Moonstone. Okay, it's time to rest. Bye for now. Enjoy your day. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you want.